Hello everyone, welcome back to AK Coding YouTube channel. Today is the third day of learning JavaScript and you're very welcome. If you're ready, let's get started. I'm happy to see you in this video, and today's video we're going to learn about operators in JavaScript. So what are operators? Operators perform operations on values and variables. So what are the values? The values which we give to the variables, right? And they allow us to manipulate data, comparing the values and making the decisions in JavaScript. So there are categories of operators in JavaScript. The first one is arithmetic operators, which performs mathematical calculations. And the second one is assignment operators, which assign values to the variables. And the third one is comparison operators, which compare the values and return the boolean true or false. And we have the last one, which is logical operators, which combine multiple conditions in decision making. So we have four types of operators in JavaScript. Let's see, and I'm going to introduce all of them with details. The first one is arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators, as we learned at school in the courses about arithmetic operators in math classes. We have arithmetic operators, and they are additions, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder, and exponentiation. So the basic one we learned in math: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modules, and even exponentiation. So how can we use them in JavaScript? First of all, let's go to Visual Studio Code and let's see. So now I'm in Visual Studio Code and I'm going to use arithmetic operators here. First of all, before going, I'm going to open a new terminal here, and I want to kill the previous one, and we're going to write a code here. So let's write a code of the console log. And before writing a console log, I'm going to declare a variable. So I'm going to use let, which is the block scope. I'm going to write num1, which is equal to 10, for example. And the next thing, I'm going to go num2, and which is equal to 4, right? And here I can do everything. So I can multiply, I can add, I can subtract, because the type of the values are numbers. So let's come back to console log, and I'm going to call the num1. So I will write num1. As you can see, it's coming let num1, which is the values number, plus, which is the addition, num2. And let's use here string manipulation here. So before writing here, so I'm going to use backticks, and instead of backticks, result, and I will put 2 dots, and here I will copy them, or I will cut them actually, and after that here I'm going to put this one, and I will put this, and let's see now the result. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't need npm start. Let's clear first, and I'm going to write node app.js. And as you can see, the result is coming 14, because 10 plus 4 is equals to 14, and this is going fine. So now we can do subtraction. So let's subtract from num1, and let's run. And as you can see, we have remaining amount is 6. When we subtract from 10 to 4, so it gives 6. And if we multiply this using asterisk, which is star, can see 40, because 10 multiplied by 4 is 40. And the next one is division. So we are going to divide 10 by 4, and the result is 2.5. And as you can see, we have like actual number is coming. So the next one is modules. Modules is a percentage assignment and symbol, so we can give percentage here, and as you can see, this gives a remainder of 10 remainder by 4, and the result is 2. So we don't get 2.5, instead we get 2, as you can see. And the last one is exponentiation. Exponentiation is the power of numbers. So if I put double asterisk 10 power of 4, and it is 10,000, as you can see. So this is working fine without any issues, and we learned what is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modules, and exponentiation. So we use in daily codes in JavaScript. The next one is comparison operators. These operators helps us to compare numbers or anything, or the cases also. We have equal, strict equal, not equal, greater than, less than, greater or equal, less or equal. We have learned all of them in math classes too. So let's try to use them. So we have, for example, num1, which is equal to 10, and we have 4. And output, if I want to try are they equal, if I ask from JavaScript, and it checks num1 is equal to 10 and num2 is equal to 4, so they are not equal, and it returns the type of boolean, which is false, because they are not true. So when we are comparing, it returns boolean. Right? And if I do 3 equal assignments, so it also, even if it is like this, it returns false. So most beginner learners doesn't know the difference between two equal sign and 3 equal signs, the difference between them. So as here it's written equal and strict equal. Strict equal means it checks the type of the value. For example, let's make this 4 to 10, and as you know, 10 is equal to 10, and it returns true. And instead, what I'm going to do here, I will make it as a string, this one. So in order to make a string, we need to cover with quotes, right? And I will delete one of equal value, and if I run this, it's still returning true. However, if we use 3 equal sign, it doesn't return true, because when we use strict equal sign, it checks the type of the value. If the type of the value is not the same, it returns false. So you now know the difference between equal and straight equal. The next one is not equal. So let's remove this and make it numbered, and now this returns true. And if I use not equal, it returns false, because they are equal. If I make 10 to 3, and now we can get true, because 10 is not equal to 3. So we can use not equal with the symbol of emmet. And the next one is greater than and less than. So if we check them by greater than or less than, for example, 10 is greater than 3. So what do you think this returns? Yes, you're right, because this returns true, because 10 is greater than 3. And if we recheck it with less than, what will? Yes, it will return false, because 10 is not less than 3, it's greater than 3. So we are getting so that false. And the next one is greater or equal. So how can we check greater or equal? For example, I will put greater or equal. I will ask 10 is greater or equal 3. This totally returns true because 10 is greater and it's not equal. So if we put here 10, it still returns true because it's not greater, but it's equal. It takes one of them. If I make this, for example, 9, and then this will be false because number 1 is not greater or not equal. And the next one is less or equal. If I change this to less, and now we'll be getting true because 10 is not, 9 is less than or equal to 10. Yeah, now these are comparison operators and you now know what they are. And logical operators. Logical operators we use in order to check and to make a decision. For example, let's make our variables 4, not 2. I'm going to use let again, num3 10, and let 4, num4, we can make it, for example, 20. Right? Maybe let's do this 20, make this 30, and make this 5, right? 5, 10, 20, 30. So here I will check with AND operator using comparison operators. How can we check it? So I'm going to make a bit challenging for you. Try to understand and try to use in your code editor this one. So I will make this num1, num2. So num1 is, as you can see, is 5, right? And num2 is 10. So I will make it num1 is less than num2, which returns true, right? And I'm going to use also num3 and num4. So here I will use AND operator, which is this one, and we'll write num3 is less than num4. And now let's check. So as you can see, we are still getting true. Why? So if when it's checking JavaScript, it comes first num1 and it checks 5 is less than 10. Yes, this is true. It returns. It doesn't return, it saves. And it asks num3, which is 20, is less than 30. This is also true. What do you think if we change this one to this one? 20 is greater than 30. What do you think? It returns true or false? Actually, it returns false. Why? While we are using AND operator, both cases must be true. If both cases are not true, it means it returns false. However, while we are using the OR operator, here we will get true, which is this one. Why? Because when we are using AND operator, all the cases must be true. Even one of them is false, it returns false. However, while we are using OR operator, if we have 3 cases and 2 cases are false and 1 case is true, in any case it returns true, because at least one of the cases must be true in order to get a true in OR operator. So you understand the point, difference between AND and OR. And the last one is NOT operator. So using NOT operator, we can get something is not true, right? So how can we use NOT operator here? We have this one, right? Actually, in order to use NOT operator, we can use like not equal, this one, right? In most cases we don't use not operators. Like we can use like this. No, this is correct. This is incorrect. I mean, we cannot use this. So we can use this or this. No, I'm sorry, this one. And or operators. So let's continue. So here I want to give some challenge. And I think you can review your math. Combining expressions. So we have operator precedence, which executes first. So we can give the numbers with parentheses. So let's delete this, and we are not going to use operators. We are going to use arithmetic operators also. So arithmetic operators we are going to use. So using parentheses. For example, we have 5, and which is inside we have 10, right? So let's use num1 plus, okay, multiplies by num2 plus num3. So as you can see, we are using parentheses num2 and num3. So as you know, in math, the first one, the priority one will be multiplication and then addition. However, if we are using parentheses, first we do the parentheses inside and then it does the multiplication. So num2 is 10, num3 is 30, 20. 10 plus 20 is 30, and 30 is multiplied by 5. And now we can see the result, which is 150. Yep, this is true. And the next one is exponentiation. However, if we are using here double, what the result will be? The result is this, because it is getting the same. Because it do first the addition and then it multiplies by 30. So the next one is multiplication, division and modules. We can use like this. So num1 is multiplied by num2 and it is divided by num3 and it is percentage by num4. So let's see the result. It's 2.5. Okay. Here it goes one by one. So first it starts from num1 and it do the multiplication, right? So if you want, you can take your calculator and you can calculate it. Okay. So we have 5, which is multiplied by 10, which is equals to 50, right? And it is dividing by num3. And if we divide by num3, it is 20, right? And it returns 2.5. And we are 2.5 is percentage. Is by 30. It should return 0.75 if we calculate like this. But it's returning 2.5. Because why? First, it is calculating the multiplication and percentage and the division. So if we do this, 5 multiplied by 10 is 50 and 50 percentagely by 30 and divided by 2 and by 20. And this means we're getting 2.5. The next one is comparison operators, addition and subtraction. So while we are using addition and subtraction, as you know, subtractions and addition doesn't matter. So it do the first addition and then subtraction. The next one is comparison. So we saw the comparison operators, how it's working with and or. So we don't need to use them. So you have an assignment within coding challenge. So write a JavaScript program to calculate the area of a rectangle. Declare two variables, which is length and width, and you can give any values. For example, length can be 5 and width can be 10. And compute the area using this formula. So area, length multiplied by width and divided by text area, and text area, and then which is equals to text length and times. And you can use text width area, which is length multiplied width, and you can print the result using the console log. So try it. If you learned something new in this video, I'm very happy for that. If you have any questions, please comment below, and see you in the next videos.